Breaking news out of Russia. It's nuclear. In a move that some analysts see, Russia is preparing for a conflict along their North Korean border. They say simply Russia's way of enforcing that the United States uses conventional military tactics and not nuclear force. How much truth is in that view, is simply above my pay grade. I do believe that Russia has zero intentions of working with the United States against North Korea. Russia is looking at the possibility of military intervention in North Korea to stop a nuclear fallout. Following North Korea's declaration earlier this week that it now has nuclear capability to target the whole of the US, Russia's Security Council Secretary Nikolai Patrushev has confirmed Russia is considering its options. Mr. Patrushev admitted that Pyongyang's actions had put Russia at risk due to the potential of an outbreak of war, Yahoo reports. He said, if there is military action, and some countries do not rule it out, this would create all sorts of problems, including for us. Russia is making preparations in case the diplomatic crisis around North Korea's nuclear testing escalates into a fully fledged armed conflict, the head of Moscow's Security Council said on Friday. North Korea and the US have threatened each other with war over Pyongyang's decision to defy international appeals and continue developing nuclear weapons. Russia and China, who have provided trade lifelines to a globally isolated regime in North Korea, have also opposed its weapons program but have been reluctant to back either side in the war posturing. Russia is nonetheless drafting plans for the scenario of a war breaking out once again on the Korean peninsula, Nikolai Patrushev, the chairman of Russia's Security Council, told state news agency RIA Novosti on Friday. Patrushev would not elaborate on the role Russia might play in such a conflict, but he suggested that Moscow would primarily watch out for itself. Donald Trump continually said he would use military intervention in North Korea if the US or any of its allies were put at risk. Addressing South Korea's National Assembly in November, Trump insisted that the US would not be intimidated by Kim Jong-un's rhetoric and called for other countries to respond to the twisted regime's threats with a sign of military force. He also warned the three largest aircraft carriers in the world are appropriately positioned to face Pyongyang. He has also previously called diplomatic negotiations with the rogue state a waste of time. Mr. Patrushev also said that Russia was getting ready for a military standoff between its unruly neighbor and other states around the world. He said, "We are assessing this and preparing ourselves. We will not be taken by surprise." He added, "We basically share a border with them. That's why we are interested in a political and diplomatic solution." Tensions between North Korea and the US have risen in recent months as President Trump and his Korean counterpart have taken part in a war of words. Addressing the UN in October, Trump called Kim Jong-un Rocket Man on a suicide mission and vowed to totally destroy the corrupt nation. However, the rhetoric between the two nations heated up earlier this week following another missile test by North Korea. The North Korean missile was fired eastwards from the Hermit State. The missile landed about 210 kilometers west of Japan's Kurokushima Island, Tokyo said. Popular opinion: Russians are 100% behind North Korea. Anything else would be seen in geopolitical terms as a cowardly stand down against the US, and that would never be allowed to happen. It would also be seen as a fracture in Russian/Chinese relations. North Korea's strength is essential to both Russian and Chinese security and will never be allowed to be taken down by the enemy. It is the same reason Russia were forced to annex Crimea, because they knew the US were going to install a puppet, which they did, that hates Russia, and the Ukraine would have joined NATO and the Crimea handed straight to them to fill with missiles and troops. North Korea is simply Plan B.